The Tibetan Purba is not generally considered a fine art object, but it is very common in both sculpture and painting. It's actually a ritual object. It's an attribute that we see in the hands of deities in painting and sculpture. And it's actually a physical, three-dimensional object that is used in all types of Buddhist rituals. But not just Buddhist, it can be found in the Bun religion and also in many tribal religions in the Himalayas, Nepal, even as far as the Nashi over on the eastern side of the Himalayas. So the Purba is actually in Sanskrit is called a Kila, and it just means peg. A peg like a stake. It's really something that you use to pin something down or pin it to the ground, like a tent peg or a tent stake. With Europeans and art historians, religious scholars of the 19th and early 20th century, they used to refer to this object as a dagger, a ritual dagger. That's not the case at all. This is really truly a peg, like a tent peg, a stake or a spike. It's meant to attach something to the ground, to take complete control over it, and then to stake it in one place under control. So this is the purpose of the Purba. The Purba also generally has three blades to it. It has different symbols on there's sort of a handle portion and a blade portion, which is partially the reason that people thought it was a dagger. At the point where the three blades meet with the handle part, then there's often the face of a makara, a water monster. Then often we have knots. We have these special kinds of twisted, almost round or squarish knots, and sometimes these are replaced with vajras, with the five-pronged vajra. Then within Buddhism, the Kila is mostly associated with a deity named Vajra Kila or Vajra Kilaya. And this deity has three faces, wrathful Raksha faces. So the Purba at the top of the sort of handle part can have these three faces, and at the very top of that can be a half Vajra. So that's the typical Buddhist Purba with this Vajra symbolism. Now, in the Bun Purba has often more faces, does not have the Vajra or half Vajra symbolism. The Bun Purba is often crowned with a kyung, with the king of birds. The tribal Purbas, Kilas from Nepal and from the Nashi regions of the eastern Himalayas, they can all be very similar, but those are generally made of wood. Now, in the study of Purbas, we really have to look at the physical ritual object, what it is. Now, it's often said that the very best physical ritual object for a practitioner to use is either meteorite iron or possibly sandalwood, but there are many other types of materials that can be stipulated depending on the type of practice that is being done. So there's not like one answer. There's not one medium for the creation of a Purba. It depends on the function and depends on the deity cycle and rituals that are being used. Now there's different types of physical Purbas, because we have the one that's used by the practitioner, but then there are a number of different types of Purbas that are used for creating mandalas for initiation purposes and for placing on the shrine. So we have different types of the actual physical Purba. Now, in terms of deities related to the Purba, most important for Buddhists is the Kila, but we also have Hayagriva, we have Mahakala, we have, in terms of visual imagery, we have Simhamukha. There's a number of other deities that are related visually, and we find this in painting and sculpture, but these figures are not considered a ritual object. They're actual deities, and they're either created as sculpture or as paintings. Now, then we have certain teachers who are related to the Purba, and their iconography generally stipulates that they appear either holding in the right or left hand a Purba, Kila, and so we have a number of teachers. But then we have to look at two-dimensional, other two-dimensional forms. We have yantra ritual devices, these two-dimensional diagrams of purbas, often with deities and with mantras, and these are used for ritual practices. And then we have a great deal of initiation cards for the different initiation practices, where the initiation card will have a depiction of the Kila or the Purba on it. So these are generally where we find the Purba. We can find it as a ritual object, we can find it as deity related, teacher related, as initiation cards, or as yantra diagrams. So there's really quite a number of different ways that the Purba or the Kila can appear visually in art and in ritual practice.